Oh, I'm back. So see what happens when you get distracted. So I forgot to put in my notes. I wanted to be able to actually have visuals for you because it's really important for visuals, just so you get a better understanding of what it is that I'm sharing with you today. This week is all around emotions, really important. I feel like this is just something, again, I'm using the word feel. I really feel like this is something that we struggle with, our emotions, how we emotionally show up when something happens, right? When we get triggered by something. So as you can see from today's topic, it's around isolation, which is a trigger. It's easy to hide, but guess what? It's damaging to your emotional well-being. Now, if you've listened to my lives before, I've told you before that it's essential for our emotional well-being to achieve self-awareness around our emotions so that we make better decisions on how we respond when we are triggered based on how we're feeling, because it all comes down to our emotions, right? And achieving self-awareness means taking time to really getting to know who you are, being open to change, because guess what? Change is inevitable. So things are going to change. So you might as well just get used to it and embrace that pivoting may be part of the process, because a lot of the time we're always trying to control things. We a lot of the time are often resisting not only change, but the pivoting part, because we're thinking, you know what, I've set this goal, this is the plan, I've mapped it out, this is how I want it to go, but guess what, life doesn't work that way, and sometimes something better is waiting for you around the corner if you just allow yourself to be open and accepting that change is inevitable, and that if you embrace that pivoting may be part of the process, meaning that if you were usually go right because that was the way your plan was, but something told you turn left and go that way, and all of a sudden you look over here and guess what's over there? A new connection or a new opportunity that you needed, that you were looking for, you just didn't know how to get there. And by allowing yourself to be open to receiving that, it happened. So hello, my name is Leslie Gaudette, and I'm an empowerment coach. And I help my clients achieve self-awareness around their emotions so they can handle their triggers, manage their emotions, and live a more positive life. So this week I want to talk to you about emotions. Again, I've been talking to you about emotions, and I'm going to tackle, as I said, emotions all this week based on specific triggers. But before I get started, let me explain to you what I have behind me. It's my new and improved triggers chart. I decided to streamline it a little bit better, so that it was easier for you to read, easier for you to understand the process. So with that being said, let me explain this to you. So triggers, what are triggers? Well, triggers are an event. Something happens, right? Something in your life happens, and all of a sudden these emotions well up, things happen, and your event triggers an emotion. It evokes that emotion, and then what does it do? It fuels that emotion. And it depends on what that trigger is, but it can be really, it could be crazy. It could be happiness, which is a great one, but it could be sadness. It could be anger, resentment. So all of those emotions get fueled by that trigger. Our emotion, what does that do? It drives our response, our actions, meaning the things that we say or the things that we do. And so when we are typically driven by our emotions, managed by them, they will evoke a response, which is typically a negative response. And so that response is, which meaning is our action, will provide our reward. And our reward is usually one of two things, positive or negative. It's a byproduct of our actions, meaning if you're positive, you get a positive reaction, you have a positive reward. Usually you are self-aware around triggers. You understand triggers. You understand what yours are. You know them. You can spot them. You also know how you emotionally show up. You've done the work. You've done the homework, the inner work, to get yourself in that place so that when you are emotionally triggered, your emotions are driving responses that you're in control of. So you make better decisions in how you show up, how you respond, and the things that you say and you do, and that will take you down a road to positivity, right? Meaning that you're responding more maturely. You are better able to respond in a way that's not going to be damaging to your relationships or to whatever you're trying to do. But the negative reward is usually guilt, shame, and regret, meaning you'll do something or say something that's going to hurt somebody, hurt someone's feelings, maybe even hurt your own progress. Maybe you're trying to accomplish something. It could be a professional relationship, and it can damage that. So, and usually what ends up happening is once that you have had time to cool off, well, what happens? You start to regret it, right? You start to feel bad about it. So you have to go back and fix it. So that's what happens with this cycle. And in the middles, you can see I put our emotional cycle on repeat. Yes, it can happen once a day. It can happen multiple times a day. So it's really whatever we're going through in our life. And that is what will happen to you, again, every day, sometimes multiple times a day. So with that being said, let's get to today's topic. So isolation. It's really super easy to hide, but it's really damaging to your emotional well-being. Because why? It can lead to feelings of loneliness, fear of others even, or negative self-esteem. It can cause conflict with friends or family members. You know, you're holding it all in instead of being open and honest about it. You're stewing about it. It's like starting to like just well up inside of you, but you hold it in and you're isolating yourself from those people, right? And so you're in essence maybe punishing them, but you're punishing yourself. You think you're punishing them by not having that relationship with them because you're really mad, angry, resentful, whatever that is. And so you're isolating yourself from them. It's causing conflict with your friends or family members, whoever that is that you have this issue with. And you are really only harming yourself. You're not really harming them because you're not being open about how you feel, and no one's a mind reader. Now, loneliness can be damaging to our mental health and our physical health, right? Meaning you're more likely to be less able to deal with stressful situations. You're more likely to suffer from depression because loneliness comes from isolation, right? You may even experience difficulty in processing information, which in turn can lead to difficulties with decision-making, or even your memory storage and recall, right? So even holding on to a memory and actually recalling something that happened. Now I'm gonna go a step further. Socially isolating yourself can put you at risk for cardiovascular disease. In my research, I found an article that said perceived isolation and loneliness are associated with increased sympathetic nervous system activity, increased inflammation, and decreased sleep. So, you know you've had those sleepless nights, right? All of which can accelerate brain and cardiovascular aging. So isolation is not good for you, and that can cause loneliness, right? First of all, it really can be really, really hard to figure that out and to try to figure out how do I get through all of this, and how do I like maybe be honest with someone if they put me in the situation where I feel like I've had to step back. You know, it's really, really not great. Now, I went another step further and looked at about another article around emotional isolation, and they wrote that emotional isolation is a state of isolation where one may have a well-functioning social network, and that's very true, but still feels emotionally separated from others. So people who are isolated emotionally usually feel lonely and unable to relate to others. Now I'm going to give you an example of me. So I'm going to get real with you, real personal. Back in 2005, there was, my husband had a really bad accident, and it was really difficult. He went through a lot emotionally, and because of that, so did I. Our relationship, not that we broke up or anything, but our relationship suffered. And instead of me, and what ended up happening was I just started keeping things in, letting things well up, my feelings. I felt like I had nobody to talk to. I felt even if I wanted to talk to somebody else, I felt embarrassed to talk to someone that I was feeling this way. I felt really bad. So I ended up isolating myself to the point where I cut myself off. I didn't really speak to anybody. I cut myself off from my friends. I cut myself off from my family members. And I didn't reach out and ask for help. I didn't take phone calls. I didn't phone anybody. I didn't get out of the house except to go to work and come home. It was just really lonely. And on top of that, I didn't have the communication with my husband because he was going through his own thing. He was in it himself. And so we both were in this thing, him going through it personally, what happened to him physically and personally, and me being his wife and being a part of that dynamic and going through it as well. And it was really, really tough. Now, for what really was a saving grace, the next year, a really great friend of mine asked me to babysit her dog, which happens to be now my dog. He's named Jackson. He's a Papillon. He's 13 now. But in 2006, at the end of 2006, she asked me to babysit because she had some family issues that she had going on, and she needed someone to look after him. At the time, I already had a dog named Cody, and I said, sure. This gave me a way out of my focusing on what was going on at home by giving me something to focus on that needed to be taken care of, something that I could do, because I felt like I was helpless to help my husband. But having a baby, because Jackson, I got him when he was just 8 weeks old. Oh no, actually 10 weeks old, because she only had him for 2 weeks when she asked me to babysit him. So I had him at 10 weeks. So he was a baby. And so that really took a lot of my focus, and I got to look after him. And that really took my mind off of it. But I still was isolating myself from other people, but at least I had something to focus on. And that really helped me. That helped me to get through. We went through 3 years of things. It was tough. I have to tell you, it was tough. One of the things that happened was one of my friends reached out to me. She was looking for me. She didn't have my number. She reached out to a family member who ended up giving her my number because she was worried about me, because she had not heard from me in quite some time. So that was my experience. And how I got out of it was somebody reaching out to me and made it so much better. Again, I had the focus of Jackson to look after him, which helped me heal that part of myself, which I was feeling lonely. And then also having my friends start reaching out to me and teaching me that going inward and not asking for help is not the right thing to do. And so she helped me get out of that so that I could start, building back myself, right? So my question for you today is this, simply, can you relate? Have you ever felt like you just couldn't reach out because maybe no one would understand, or that's what you've told yourself? And I've told myself that a million times before that, right? How would anyone understand? Maybe, I even felt embarrassed about it. Or maybe you felt fear of being judged, like, why are you being so weak? Why are you letting this get you down? Why are you letting this make you isolate yourself, right? Or maybe you felt like you would have been criticized. So why are you making it all about you? Because it didn't happen to you, right? And those are the questions. Like, I related to all of those questions. All of those things. I did feel like I couldn't reach out because I felt no one would understand. I did feel the fear of being judged because I felt I was being really weak. And I felt I would have been criticized because I thought people would ask me, why am I making it about me, when clearly I wasn't the one that was physically suffering, maybe mentally suffering, but it wasn't me that was going through it. It didn't affect me directly. You understand where I'm going with this? So again, no judgment here. I've been there. Like I said, I feel you. If you can relate to this, I feel you. All I'm asking you to do is just pick 1, 2, or 3 above. Sorry, 2, 3, or 4 above is what I meant. Well, actually, maybe it's all of them. 1, can you relate? 2, have you ever felt like you couldn't reach out for fear that no one would understand? 3, yeah. 3, maybe you felt fear of being judged. Why are you being weak? Or 4, maybe you felt like you would have been criticized. Why are you making it all about you? And post it in the comments below. And to go one step further, if you want to take it offline and talk more and see how I can support you through this, I'll put a link in the comments, and just see how I can maybe support you if you're going through it now. So what's your number? Please post your number in the comments below. All I ask is that you be honest with yourself so you have a better understanding of why your emotional responses are the way that they are, like what makes you you. This will help you get a better understanding of where you're at in this cycle of life, like I said, that's on repeat. So you can start to make some healthy changes, and then start your own self-growth journey to better managing your emotions when you're emotionally triggered. So again, that's it for today. What's your number? Tell me what your number is. Is it 1, 2, 3, or 4? Or maybe it's all of the above. And then, like I said, I posted the answers in the title notes so you can think about it and then choose your answer. Again, be honest for you. If you participate, you're just allowing yourself to take the first step to getting at the root of the trigger, right? To why you might isolate yourself and the emotions attached to it, so that in the future, you'll be able to make better decisions. Maybe instead of isolating yourself, you'll learn that it's better to reach out and ask for help. And again, if you need to take this offline, I'm posting the link right now. I'm going to post it in the comments right now. And if you need to take this offline, you know, and chat with me privately, let's just schedule a call, see where you're at. Maybe I could point you in the right direction. The call is free. And as I said, you'll come away with maybe a better understanding of what you can do, the steps you can take so that you can get yourself back on track. So that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Whether you are here on live or watching it back, if you're new, welcome to watching my videos. And if you're not new, you've come back many times, welcome home. I really, truly appreciate your support so much. I want to be there for you, my audience, and help you get through this, because this is real. And I've worked with other people to help them so that they have a better understanding around their emotions, are making better decisions when they're emotionally triggered, so that this piece, which we have control over, doesn't manage your life. Now remember to navigate your day with an attitude of gratitude, because with the right attitude, it will put you in the right mindset for when life happens. And like I said, it's going to happen. I'm Leslie Gaudette, and I'm an empowerment coach. I help my clients achieve self-awareness around their emotions so they can handle the triggers, manage their emotions, and live a more positive life. I hope you have an amazing, amazing day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.